The definition of corruption that best describes this issue is, for me, the one used by Transparency International that defines corruption as the abuse of entrusted power for private gain, because it is the one that best addresses the issue of private gain, which is, in my opinion, uh, fundamental for understanding corruption. In this understanding, corruption can be compared to betrayal because people trust in you because you have a certain power over some scarce resources, but you use it to benefit yourself. Even if in the process it ends up being beneficial for other people, the fact that its ultimate goal relies on a self-centered motivation is a clear indicator of wrongdoing. The best way to measure corruption is through the Global Corruption Barometer because it is based on direct experiences with the problem. The GCB surveys over 114,000 participants in 107 countries, so it draws results from a wide variety of situations and cultures that sort of evens out the different perceptions of corruption. I think that this is the best way to measure corruption because other indices like CPI rely on experts' opinion, and this opinion can sometimes be biased, and that sometimes doesn't really reflect what the country is going through, and most importantly, what people think of the matter. The country I chose to compare this week is Greece, because I think it is going through a very interesting transition in its political conditions, mm, and these indices can reflect how the people is reacting to these changes. So according to the International Country Risk Guide, this index that measures 17 different risk components, including turmoil, direct investment, and more, out of 100 possible points for political risk components, Greece has 73, which is below the average of West Europe, which is 81, but is still above the global average. And when divided into different regions, is still above most of the regions. In the Global Corruption Barometer, if we look at the same question that we studied in this week's class, have you paid a bribe in the past 12 months? Greece had 22% of the respondents who said that they had paid a bribe, which is below the global average of 27%. But what's interesting here is that it's below countries like Sudan and Turkey and Colombia. So it got my attention. And out of 96 countries, it occupies place 49. Um, the Bribe Payers Index is not really relevant in this country since it only studies the the 28 leading economies. So Greece is not a third in the study due to the criteria. But in the Corruption Perception Index, this measures perceived levels of corruption in the public sector from 177 countries. Greece occupies place 80 in the rank with a score of 40, with 0 being highly corrupt and 100 being clean. This score is below 50, which is like the indicator of if a country is corrupt or not, and it's below the global average of 43. Overall, Greece is around the average in most indices, which is coherent with the political and economic situation the country is going through. Um, Instability and uncertainty, in my opinion, are some of the ingredients for a population to fall upon corrupt actions, since the government and the private sector are no longer a guarantee for economic growth. So people have to find other ways to keep on doing what they were used to doing, or to try to improve their life conditions. The most interesting thing I learned this week is that corruption can't be measured to its full extent, since it has a wide variety of expressions, but most of all because it relies on the different ideas that people have about corruption. What some people believe to be corrupt can be seen as a normal practice for others. Even if the same question was asked to every country, the results will not be 100% accurate. But even when the whole concept of corruption can't be reduced, it is possible to say that it is a worldwide problem with different expressions, with different causes and different consequences. But it is still a key factor in the development of country and in the way the country is perceived worldwide, the way it develops internally, and the way it presents itself to the rest of the world.